Yo, sup? It's SharksBiteStuff, and we are here for the 11th edition of the RoG Podcast. Unfortunately, RoG Floodsfire could not be here, but we do have a new co-host, and his name is RoG Steel. How's it going?
It's surely good. How about you?
Oh, it's been great. All right, so with this new edition, we're going to consider ourselves a nice little podcast family. All right, to start the show off, we are going to ask the viewers what they think would be a great name for our podcast, because we used to have a U.S. version and a European version, but that didn't work out too well. So now we're just going to name it individually and just keep doing whatever it's called, episode, whatever. So if you have any cool ideas, post a comment or do whatever.
Yeah, just let us know, because we want your advice. We want your opinion on it. The show is dedicated to ROGs, to get dedicated to everyone in the community. And we're here to have fun, and we want to make it and improve it as much as we possibly can.
And it better be funny.
And it better be funny, because I'll come out there and I'll hunt you down. All right. So name for the show, that's a tough one right there. Finding names, it's a hard part, and
I'm going to go ahead and say that this is already a winner, and we're going to call it the Dude Pile Brocast.
Dude Pile? So we're going to get a big pile with some dudes and call it a podcast?
Yeah, and we're all going to use just one mic.
Oh, wow, that's going to sound great.
Yeah. All right, other updates for the podcast. We're going to do a whole new entire setup. We're going to have a previous episode button and a next episode button, and then you can and you can click on either one to go back and forth between episodes. We're still going to keep the who's on the podcast, just so you guys know. But the main thing is we're not going to do the whole video face recording of ourselves, because we're not that high tech or whatever. But we're going to have a table of contents on the side that you can click between segments if you want to skip one or go back and listen to something again. So you don't have to go through the little scroll thing at the bottom and say, okay, they talked about this at 1 minute and 48 seconds.
Yeah, that sounds like a big pet peeve. Like, it's a minute and 40 seconds. Just get it done. Get there. I don't want to go through the whole show. Some people are like that, I understand that. So
yeah, so we're just trying to
do it in segments for you.
Yeah, we're just going to try to improve the podcast from here on out, because I know you guys want this to be simple and you want to enjoy yourselves listening to this, and that's what we're going to do.
Let's do it. So I got a quick story, and it's a pretty funny story to start off with, so I'll just get into it. And basically, I work at a retailer. I sell TVs, right? And there was this guy that I knew, this really strange guy. He just strikes you as a really weird, and he talks really strange, and you're just like, this guy's a little bit out there, right? I knew the guy on Xbox Live for a while, so I would game with him and whatnot. But anyways, I was at work one day, and this guy walks in, and he started talking, and I was like, oh my God, it sounds like the guy on Xbox Live. And if I was to picture that guy at the store was exactly who I would imagine that guy to look like, just based on his voice and the way he's like he had like a hunchback, and he's just like,
Wait, what?
It was just
what Xbox guy?
I don't want to name names, so it's somebody that I knew. He's just a little bit strange. We'll just call him Bob, just for kicks. But yeah, Bob, he started talking to me one day, and I was just like, this guy just talked my ear off. So I just ended up saying, hey, man, if you have other questions, just give me a shout. And then I walked right off. And then the next day he came back in, and it just really reminded me that guy, really related to how that kid that I knew on Xbox Live. It was pretty crazy.
Oh, I thought you meant like the actual Xbox guy, like Major Nelson or something. I was like, what?
You did what to Major Nelson? You thought he was weird?
Oh, I thought you were talking about him the whole time. I didn't think this was a personal story. I thought it was like, you sound like Major Nelson, and people just look at you like, what?
No, it was nothing about Major Nelson, but You can think what you want. I mean, by all means.
I'm gonna pretend it was Major Nelson.
Oh, okay. You have your little imaginary game over there in the corner.
I forget that other lady that talks about cool stuff. I don't know. She does that inside Xbox videos on the dashboard all the time, and I can't remember her name for the life of me.
It freaks me out. All right, so this E3 2012, it really brought a lot of games out that were a lot of them were interesting. Some of them were sequels, some of them were prequels. But this year we saw a whole lineup of what the next generation is going to possibly look like. I mean, games nowadays, the graphics have exceeded my expectations almost to the degree where it's like almost realism. Notably, the first game we're going to talk about is Halo 4. So, I mean, what do you think about Halo 4, Sharks? I mean, my opinion is, it's another sequel. I do like Halo. I love the campaign. It has a phenomenal campaign storyline. The cool thing that I like about it the most is that it's incorporating or adding the storyline of Halo 3 with Master Chief in it, which is really what I wanted to see of how the game's going to, begin in Halo 4 and how it's going to end.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
What I know so far about it is that from Halo 4, it's starting a new saga, so there's going to be 2 after it, at least as what I've been informed of for now. But there is a new enemy, and you're not just the Covenant anymore. I watched the whole the trailer for E3. I'm not sure if it was just like a teaser trailer, or if it was like an announced date thing. But there's like new weapons. The battle rifle's back, which I like. The enemies are kind of weird, and I'm still not really used to them because they look really high-tech but prehistoric at the same time. I honestly I think that they're Forerunners. I'm not too sure because all the guns you pick up like kind of build themselves in your hand. And then Cortana's just like, oh, that's, I don't even know. She's like, oh, that's old technology. And I'm like, oh, that must be, what is it? I can't even remember the name anymore. Forerunner, there we go. That's Forerunner technology. And I was like, oh my God. Forerunner.
Oh my God.
Forerunner, Halo 4, am I right? Okay. But there's a new story. The Master Chief kind of looks a little different, but you still know it's him. The part that kind of confuses me and puts a turn on the whole story is that Cortana says early in the trailer that AIs deteriorate after 7 years, and she's been around for 8. I don't really know how long they've been in that ship at the end of Halo 3 for the Legendary ending, but I'm kind of curious as to how much of a external conflict with the Forerunners and the UNSC is with Master Chief, and then he has that internal conflict with himself and then Cortana. The thing I love about Halo 4, though, is that the multiplayer is so insane, and then the campaign just adds on to it, and then you just put those two together, and it's just so awesome. And then I would pay more than $60 for it.
You would pay how much? 120? We're talking about $4,000, or?
Oh, maybe not $4,000. I'll borrow it off someone if it's that much.
I'll loan it.
Okay, but enough about Halo 4, because that's about as much as I know. We're going to move right into my personal favorite of E3, Borderlands 2. Steel, do you know anything about this?
I did play Borderlands 1. I did like the game, don't get me wrong, but Borderlands 2 does look like kind of up the ante, a tidbit, I guess you could say. Graphics have improved. There's, a whole new game environment. Same game engine, I believe, but I'm not 100% sure. Yeah,
but the difference between like the first one and the second one is like the first one kind of just said, okay, let's try this idea, and then it actually hit off so well. But for anyone that like didn't play it at all, it's about 4 people called Vault Hunters, and then they go around like this wasteland called Pandora or whatever. I think that's what the planet's called. I don't know if it's the same on the second one. That's why I'm confused. But they go around looking for this vault, and they have to do quests and kill certain people to have access to places because they have so much power in the world. But this
power.
Yeah, the first one had so many guns, and that's what people loved. And then the second one is about the same kind of concept, but there's 4 new characters, and the classes that you can be are kind of the same. There on the first one there was like a soldier, a siren, a hunter, and a berserker. And then on this next one, it's like they're not really new, even though they say they are. They're just kind of the same thing, but kind of upgraded, I guess. But you pretty much do the same thing, but they're instead of like battling to find this vault of awesome treasure, there's this guy named Handsome Jack, and you're actually battling through Pandora, I believe. But you're going through that, and then you're trying to take him down because he's just screwing over so many people and whatever. I wish September 18th would come so much quicker.
Speaking of which, again, as close to September is Assassin's Creed 3. Assassin's Creed 3, I would say, by far, has truly changed gameplay mechanics. And what I mean by that is the game is not like Assassin's Creed, with, okay, here's a new storyline and here's some new weapons. It's actually, here's a new Assassin's Creed, but here's a new Assassin's Creed storyline, like an actual full, completely new character, a new protagonist that's bringing you into the Revolutionary War with a guy named Connor. And you're seeing this game, and the graphics are, a big improvement. I mean, it's a lot more fluid. There's a lot more weapons that have been introduced, such as the tomahawk, the bow and arrow. And what's really cool about it, what I really like about it, is that with any weapon that you have, you can assassinate somebody with your tomahawk. But yeah, you have the ability to assassinate with any weapon you have, which is just rockin' awesome. I mean, what do you think about that? Isn't that pretty sweet?
I actually am a huge fan of this. I was so excited for the second one, but now the whole new revamp, it's just it's like the same exact thing, but so different. Like you're the new character named Connor, and I kind of think it's different because you're half British, but you're also half Native American, and those are two like different sides of the world. And then
it's true.
Yeah, I know. I did. I took geography in high school, but anyway,
so did I.
Yeah, what I did like though is that I saw like what is it? I saw like dogfight. Like when I say dogfights, it sounds like airplane battles. There's like you're on a friggin' ship, and there's another ship, and you fight that one. That's a water dogfight. But
water dog. Well, that's a good name.
Well, I don't know what it's called. I'm not a pirate. But they have those. But it's not like you're jumping around buildings and stuff, because you're actually, from what I saw, it's like open fields and then forests. Then you're climbing trees everywhere, jumping out and hatchet backflips into people. I can't wait.
You also can't forget about the bears, though, and the wildlife animals. That looks pretty intense. You're going against a big black bear? Oh, man.
No, I refuse.
That's pretty intense.
I refuse.
I refuse?
No animal cruelty.
Oh, you can't forget about the other feature where you can actually be running while assassinating people. It's a quicker way to assassinate people to get to your main target. That was seen in one of the trailers where you see Connor just running through this field, getting shot by musket fire, and there's like a general in the top of this field or this hill, and he's just running and assassinating this guy and that guy and moving on to the next, and then he takes out his final kill. So that's a pretty cool feature that is coming out in Assassin's Creed 3.
Now, do you think there's going to be like any like specific person in this game, like the second one, or I don't know if it was the second one or Brotherhood, but they had Da Vinci? Do you think this one's going to have something similar to that?
I think so. With the previous installments of Assassin's Creed, you said that Da Vinci was one of the notable person that you were involved with. So yeah, I could definitely see it. Revolutionary War. So I'm curious as to who that person would be if that's going to actually happen. That is really interesting. That you bring that up too. But I'm not too sure who it would be, but I'm willing to see what's going to happen with it.
Yeah, I really hope they involve someone like that, because having Da Vinci in the previous one made me kind of be like, oh, wow, this is actually really cool. And to have what he actually did in history be tied into this is pretty solid.
Absolutely. We also have Tomb Raider, which I'm not sure if you're a big fan of Tomb Raider, Sharks, but I am. Regardless of what you say.
I am not.
So I'll take this one off then, since you're not a fan.
Yeah, I have no idea except that it's a girl.
So Tomb Raider, it's a series that's been around for quite a while, and this is actually a prequel. It looks like, from what I'm hearing. She's younger, and she's all banged up. So as seen from the E3 trailer, I mean, there's some pretty intense moments. I would say that the game is, really close to compare to a game such as Uncharted. I mean, Uncharted was intensifying. There was a lot of craziness that would just happen. Like, there's one scene you're on the train and it's falling down. You're trying to climb up the train, and you kind of see that with the new Tomb Raider. So it has a lot of interesting mechanics. But one thing that I'm noticing this year, Sharks, is a lot of games are introducing not crossbows, but actual bow and arrows. Tomb Raider is doing it. Crysis 3 is doing it.
Minecraft.
Assassin's Creed. Minecraft. Yeah. Minecraft. Yeah, of course. But yeah, that's one thing that I've been really noticing quite a bit is a lot of bow and arrows. But the game looks really intense. I mean, it looks realistic, and I'm very, very excited for it. Probably not as excited about it as I am the next game that we're going to talk about, but that's another discussion that we'll get into in just a second here. So, I mean, what are you thinking about Tomb Raider right now, Sharks?
I think it sounds pretty good. I don't know. I've never really been too into this series. But I guess the story sounds pretty solid. It kind of sounds like it's a Indiana Jones type.
Yeah,
deal.
yeah.
Okay, one game that really caught my eye at E3 had to be Watch Dogs. I really have no idea the story. I just saw a couple glimpses of gameplay of it, but it looks so good. The graphics of it look like it's a next-gen console thing, but it's not. It's still Xbox 360 and PS3, and I think it might be the new...
You can't forget PC, come on.
Okay. Okay, if you want to get it
Might be the new Wii U. Hey, you never know. It might be the new Wii U.
It might be on your Nintendo DS.
It might even be on your PSP, which is outdated.
Oh, you can download it on your phone.
Yeah.
But anyway, the game looks so unbelievably realistic that I think it might be the next Grand Theft Auto, but more gorgeous.
Well, this is my thought on it. Yes, this is the Grand Theft Auto game, type kind of game that introduces a new idea, and that is that the city that you're in, you can control that city via hacking. So there's a few videos that I was watching, and the main character, main protagonist, I believe his name is Aiden. He's in the city, and he's going into this club, and he's hacking this guy's phone, and there's two security guards at the front of the actual club, and he hacks both phones, and they lose reception, so they can't talk to each other. And the guy in the front of the club, he just walks off, so you just walk right in there, and then you go in there, and you see people on the phones, and you're able to scan them and see who they are. They're basically scanning their ID, like a photographic kind of deal. You're scanning them in, and okay, this person's 32, they're divorced or whatever, and it looks really cool. But the ability to control that city is the most awesome part about it. The developers actually also stated that in the beginning of the game, it's a pretty small selection of what you can control in the city, but as you continue to play the game more and expand upon it, you're going to be able to control a big portion of the city. I mean, there was one portion where he's running on the street and he controls the traffic lights, and then there's this big ass explosion with these cars, and you just see chaos, and then you just see him pull out his gun and just start taking people out. So I am mind blown by the game. It's just a mind blowing feeling.
So this guy can pretty much just control electronics?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Your phones, he can control the traffic bridge, so when you're going across the bridge and there's somebody after you, you just control the bridge to close the bridge. I mean, there's some pretty cool stuff that we've seen, but there's a very little details that are known about the game currently. It's probably supposed to come out around 2013 is what it's looking like.
Oh, that's too long.
Which is kind of long, but we still have a lot of games coming out. You know, Assassin's Creed and the other games.
I'll be out of money by then.
Oh, you'll get a new job.
Oh, I don't.
But yeah, that's definitely one of the games that I'm gonna say is gonna probably be one of the I think one of the best ones out there so far.
Oh yeah, definitely a buy.
The other game that we want to talk about would be Far Cry 3. I don't know if Shark's really a big fan of it, but I am personally a fan of the game. Far Cry 2 came on the Xbox 360 a couple years back, and it's really an open world environment type game. Where you're running around and you're doing specific missions, able to unlock different weapons and attachments and assortment of different things. But the big thing about it at that time was the Far Cry 2 had really good graphics. But Far Cry 3 completely changes it. I mean, the game looks phenomenal. It's a first-person shooter, and when you're in that forest, it looks almost as good as Battlefield 3. And Battlefield 3 is amazing looking. So that's definitely a big difference that I'm noticing in Far Cry 3. The gameplay mechanics have definitely changed. The water looks realistic. Like, you go in that water, man, and you're swimming in there, and it looks pretty legit. So I'm pretty excited about that game. One thing that I'm concerned about, though, and I want to get your thought on it, is that I was reading something online that some people were trying out the co-op on the game, and they said that it was god-awful. Like, don't even try the co-op, they said. The reason why, I guess, was because the co-op is completely separate from the actual campaign storyline, and it was just like stupid missions, I hear. What do you think about that, Sharks?
As long as it's not like everyone shares the same screen, it can't be that bad.
I guess you might be correct on that, but you never know.
But I mean, I haven't tried it, so I can't really throw in my 2 cents. But I don't know. I guess if you're concerned about it and if you're on edge about buying it, I guess just watch some gameplay videos of the co-op and see if that floats your boat.
I know many things float your boat, my friend. So. So we talked about E3. We talked about some pretty cool games this year. I want to go ahead and go into the discussion of the top E3 game chosen by us, the host and co-host of the podcast. So since you're the host, I'm going to let you shout out about what is your favorite game this year showcased at E3 and why, and then I'll go into my 2 cents of why it's not and why mine is. So go for it.
All right, so my favorite was a really close tie between Halo 4 and Borderlands 2. The reason for Halo 4 is because I've been so into the storyline and the multiplayer for so long, and then I'm dying to know what happens next, and I want to be able to do that story myself. And then it's a great game, and it's like one of the top sellers, and it's only for the Xbox, and I think that's a feat in its own. But for Borderlands 2 is because I bought the second one. It's not even out yet. I bought the first one, and then I was kind of like, okay, this is kind of cool. I'm kind of just playing by myself here. The graphics look kind of weird, kind of reminds me of a comic book. But the more I got into it, the more I fell in love with the graphics. And I was like, wow, this is actually, this is more a story because it kind of resembles like an illustration type thing. But then the thing that made me love Borderlands is that it's actually made for all 4 people to play together, and it's so much fun to just go in with a couple of your buddies and just complete all the quests and beat the campaign. And then the only problem I hate about it is arguing about who gets this awesome gun and whatever. And then you end up hating each other for a week because he stole it and you wanted it so bad. But
yeah, that could be a big issue.
Yeah, but my top pick has to be Borderlands 2 because the release date trailer I saw for it had dubstep in it. The Claptrap was doing the robot. There's so many guns. There's new characters. It's Borderlands 2 million, in my opinion.
Borderlands 2 million. All right, fair enough. So now that you went on your rant and rave about Borderlands, I'm just going to say right now that the best game this year for me was definitely Watch Dogs. I mean, like I was saying earlier, Watch Dogs, it was a surprise. Like the game wasn't even announced till E3, so when it was behind closed doors and Ubisoft came out on the floor and was like, okay, well, here's one of our new games, and check it out. And then it came on screen, and I was like, what is this? Is this like a Grand Theft Auto game? And then you realize that's a pretty open-ended game. It's an open-ended game just like Grand Theft Auto, but you can hack the city, which is so cool. And the graphics are, like you said, they look next-gen. So what's not to love about Watch Dogs? I mean,
I just love how they did that at the presentation. Like, they didn't even drop any hints before E3 about the game, and then they kind of just opened the door